So this is support in anything from what you're working on manifesting, whether it's you're manifesting your soulmate or your business or any type of goals for your health or yourself, anything you're working on, right? What you might want some clarity or support around with that. Or it might be inner healing. So this might be inner child healing, shadow work, trauma healing, anything of this nature, right? I've already got some questions lined up. So I'm going to go over those first, and then as questions come in, if they're coming in, I'll go over them. So one thing I do want to make clear is I am going to just intuitively feel into whatever's coming to me, because this isn't like, I don't have you guys here with me face to face on a Zoom call. So I can't always get the more clarity or whatever it is to answer the best possible way. So I'm just going to intuitively feel into the question, and whatever comes to me based on my experiences or what I'm working on with my clients, I'm going to kind of guide through that question that way. So if there's any more clarity or additional clarity that you want, that's where I suggest you book the 15-minute manifesting audit. This is where I can kind of help you get really clear about any blocks that you might be having or anything that might be standing in the way of allowing your manifestations or your healing to come through. So if you want some more personalized clarity where I can get some deeper insights on what's kind of going on in your world and your situation, I invite you to book that 15-minute call. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull up what I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions that I have. And then, like I said, I'm just going to kind of intuitively go through and answer them to the best of my ability. And if you guys want some more support or extra support, you can just let me know in the comments. Or if you don't know what something means, just like I said, let me know and I'll do my best to continue to explain. And I'll be here for as long as I can be and as long as there's questions coming in. And like I said, if everything goes well and this is helpful, we'll make this a regular thing. So with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll come back to the comments that are happening right now. Okay. So the first thing that I've got here from the previous thread is it says, I feel stuck in feeling like I can't be bothered anymore. It feels like all I've done so far, while enlightening, has not improved my outlook on life. Most times I can hardly wait to leave this planet. I wonder why I really came, as if I feel as if I do not resonate with anything in particular these days. Sometimes I feel I just don't care, but I must on some level. Okay, so what I am kind of getting from this comment is there's just a disconnect in what is important to us on a personal level. So this feels like a level of self-discovery to me. So what I had to do for myself, right? So I was feeling particularly disconnected because I was kind of, for a while, for so long, I had lived my life for everybody else, right? I had tried to figure out how to be the best daughter, how to be the best employee, how to be the best student. I wanted everybody else to like me. So I kind of put myself into boxes and like conformed myself to make other people enjoy me, or whatever, to make other people happy, right, in my presence. So it wasn't until now, this is for me, and this is kind of what I did, because this is what I'm kind of feeling needs to happen. And again, it's hard because I don't know what you've done, what you've tried. So if you need more clarity, then make sure you let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best. So after I went through a bunch of experiences where everything was kind of ripped away from me, right? My marriage ended, my father died. I decided I didn't want to do the career that I was doing. So everything that I had created myself to be for all of those things was crumbling. And underneath that, I felt lost. I felt like I didn't know who I was. I kind of felt like, what's the point in all of this? This is so depressing. This is so stressful. And it might not be the same, but it might be similar. So what I really had to do during this period is take time to figure out why I wanted to live and why I wanted to go through this human experience for me, not for my daughter, not for my parents, not for my job, not for a lover, but for me. What was my worth, or what mattered the most to me, right? So this was just a journey of figuring out why I could choose to live and to continue to create and go for my goals and continue to show up as the best mother that I can for my daughter and continue to play a part in this experience in this world. I had to really take that time to figure out why it was important for only me. If nobody else existed or if nobody else mattered or whatever, if it was just for me, why was that important? So again, I don't know if that's where you're at or if you've already tried this or what you're feeling stuck with, but this is what is intuitively coming to me whenever I hear this, is it's that figuring out why for you as an individual, your purpose or your reason to continue or your reason to have this human experience matters, right? So it's finding joy for you, right? What's the joy for Heather, for you as the individual to stay in this human experience, to show up in this human experience, right? What is it going to do or what can you create out of it? And then once you start to figure this stuff out, right? So for me, it was a process of genuinely finding acceptance for all parts of myself, right? I couldn't be present in this human experience and I couldn't find ways to be joyful or to really care or find purpose until I started to just figure out what I actually didn't like about myself, what I didn't like about the world. And when I started to be very honest about what I was unhappy with or what I wasn't enjoying about the human experience or enjoying about my human self, and I started to look for reasons why I could love those parts of the journey, those parts of the human experience, those parts of being here on the planet. It wasn't until I got very clear and I took some time to be honest, brutally honest about why I'm not happy here, why I'm not happy in my body, why I'm not happy in this human experience, and showing those parts of myself and those parts of my life, why I love them, right? And that's challenging, but that is what has actually helped me be able to just be there for myself when things aren't going well, when mistakes happen, when failures happen, when setbacks happen, being able to genuinely find reasons to love the parts that I'm not happy with the most has been the game changer. So I'm going to come back to the live and see if there are any comments here. Sorry, guys. Technical skills. Hey, Gordana, so glad you are here with me. So I hope that that's making sense so far for you guys, that first question that I answered. There is an extended version, or somebody had added to that. Says, so you've put into words what so many of us women feel right now. People also don't understand that relationships around you will affect your business. This is a real thing. We've come so far in business minded as women, and no one includes that last section on how to be a mom and a wife at the same time. I love this, right? How to do it all, right? So the first part of that question is, what's the point, right? How can we actually enjoy being on this planet, having this human experience? And for me, the big thing that was a pivot for me was really just being honest about what I didn't like, right? What I don't like about my human self, what I don't like about myself in general, or this human experience or being on this planet. What are the things I'm not okay with? And then taking the time to ask or to see those things from a different perspective. And then the next thing is, how do I show up and balance it all? How do I be a mom? How do I be a lover? How do I be a daughter and a business owner? How do I balance it all and feel fulfilled? Right? So, and how do I care enough? Right? So the first part is caring enough to balance it all or to show up and be all of the things. Right? And then the second part is, how can you balance it? How can you make it happen? How can you make it doable in a way that you're actually genuinely content, genuinely enjoying? Because here's the thing, if you want to manifest abundance overflow, or if you want to have financial or time freedom, or whatever it is you want to create so that you can feel at peace and you can just feel like everything is falling into place as often as possible, there has to be this level of balance. And there also has to be this level of, I'm content with where I'm at and I am enjoying everything that I have my foot in, right? Like I am enjoying all of the hats that I wear. So that is another level of self-discovery as well. So figuring out, what are your hats, right? What are the hats you need to wear in business? What are the hats you need to wear at home? What are the hats you need to wear for yourself personally, right? What are all the things that are important to you? Because obviously you to a degree, like the first comment said, to a degree, we care, right? We're still here. So obviously to a degree, we care about all of it, but it's overwhelming sometimes. And it can get to this point of, what's the point, right? So at least I can relate to this. I know what this means for me. So what helps is there's three components here. Okay. So it's like your professional goals, your personal goals, and your family or relationship goals. Okay. So I like those three things. When those three things are balanced for me, I am feeling the most patient. I am feeling the most content, and I'm feeling the most comfortable in my situation when those three things are in balance. So personal goals is where my self-care or my education or my nutrition or my exercise, all those things that make me feel like my cup is full, right? So when I have meditated, when I have worked out, when I am eating well, I feel my best. When I feel my best, I am showing up professionally and in my relationships the way that I want, right? So finding these balance. So this might sound simple or whatever, but for me and what I do for my clients is I get very clear on what those priorities are, what those hats we need to wear are in this human experience, right? So yes, the first part, I've had several clients that have been in that, well, what's the point of this anyways? What's the point in getting organized? What's the point of prioritizing? What's the point of scheduling, right? And that's that deeper inner healing work of how can you love the parts that are bothering you, the parts that are hard to love, the parts that are challenging. What is good about those challenges? And then once you can genuinely find, and you will, sometimes it takes time, sometimes that's the challenging part, but when you find that sweet spot of loving the unlovable or loving the challenges, right? Then the prioritization, the organization, the scheduling becomes this, it's fun. It becomes this game, and it becomes this, how can I make everything feel fulfilled and balanced? Right. So I hope this is helpful, but this is what I've kind of intuitively picking up from the questions. So I'm going to check again and see if there are any additional comments. Okay, awesome. So don't forget, guys, if there's something you're working on that you want some support with, put them in the comments below and I will answer those as well. Okay, so the next question is, I feel like I'm having issues with the letting go part of the process. Some days I feel totally calm and peaceful and like I truly and completely trust the process, but then I have moments where I get in my head and the anxiety sets in and it's so frustrating. I do know that I believe most times, and I'm seeing so many signs and synchronicities and trusting my inner voice more and more, but the anxiety sometimes is overwhelming and the lack of patience it comes with. I usually meditate or try to when this occurs, and I also journal. So are there any other tips for this? Okay, so this is the receiving portion of the manifestation. So receiving comes after you have clarity on what you want. You are taking aligned action to get it. So you're clear on the vision and you've taken action to receive it. And now you've showed up, you've put yourself out there, you've done all the things to receive, and now you're just waiting. Okay, so this is another what's important. So yes, meditating and connecting to the universe and just giving yourself. So there's that part, what she's saying that she's trying. This is an additional thing that you guys can add to this is that stillness. So in the meditation, the intention with the meditation is to just give yourself whatever you're needing. So in the meditation, you're in the act of receiving part, that's when it's a good time to step back, because it's so easy, like she said, that anxiety, that impatience, that frustration, that overwhelm, it's so easy to feel that impatience, that overwhelm. So whenever you start to feel that frustration or that, oh my God, is it coming? Oh my God, do I need to do more work? Oh my God, what's going on? Now, there's two parts to this, and this is what I have found. So part one is if you are feeling anxious in the receiving portion of the manifestations, it can either be a warning saying the action that you've taken is not enough or it's not aligned. There's something wrong with the action. So you've got to, so this is where it can get complicated. And this is where I think, this is why I believe receiving is the hardest part, is because sometimes we don't know the difference between warnings and just, excitement, impatient, anxiety, right? So there's two parts. So sometimes it's a warning. Sometimes we have trouble just sitting back and relaxing and allowing things to just come because we're feeling like, hey, this thing that we're doing isn't good enough, or, we don't know the difference. We don't know if we didn't take the right action, or we don't know if we took the right action and we just need to sit back and relax. So there's two parts to that, because sometimes that anxiety is a warning, right? So you've got to be able to differentiate that. And so for me, how I differentiate it is through meditation. And then I also use different tools like divination or pendulums. So these are personally, they might not be right for everybody, but they're things that help me personally. So if I need clarity on, is this anxiety that I'm feeling because there's something missing that I haven't done in the action taking piece, or is it because I just need to sit back and trust that the universe is sending it my way, right? So I'll ask, is it this or is it this? And I'll get that clarity through my tarot cards or my pendulum, because sometimes it can be hard. And then additionally, also I have my own mentors for different things. So I will go to them and bring them, hey, this is the action that I've taken. Do you have any suggestions? Is there anything missing from your experience? Is this good? Right? So I am using my resources, whether it's divination, communicating with the universe through meditation, or my own mentors, right? So that's a big piece I want to make you guys clear of. Sometimes that anxiety of like sitting back and relaxing to receive is trying to tell you, hey, there's more work to be done. But sometimes the work is done and the work is on point. The work is enough. The work is exactly what you needed to be doing. And now we just need to sit back and relax. And that can be overwhelming, right? It makes my skin crawl sometimes just thinking about it. Okay. So in those moments, what helps me the most is just sitting in visualization. So what I think one of the biggest mistakes that I hear when people are learning how to manifest is people are trying to tell you to start by visualization, visualizing the future that you want, right? So sit down and visualize you have everything that you want. Yes, that is a great manifesting technique. And yes, it's a good manifesting technique to help you figure out what actions you need to take as well, because I use it for both. So, but once the action is taken, you sit in that visualization of it's already fulfilled. It's already fulfilled. And then also aligning energetically, so emotionally and mentally, to the vision. So what do you need, right? So if you've already taken the action, you know the action is optimal, there's nothing you need to change. Now you just genuinely need to sit back and receive the manifestation. After you're clear and you know that that's what's going on, what are the things you need to do to maintain that alignment to the vision of what's coming on? Do you need to, kind of think about how that, so like the best way for me to do this is going to be for like how I'm doing it in my business, right? So, because that's where I get the most anxiety, right? Are clients coming? Is this happening? Is income going to come in? Whatever, right? Like, so if I've created something and I've put it out and I know that the creation is perfect, it's exactly the way it needs to be, it's super valuable, it's whatever, and I've put it out there, I'm inviting people to it. Once that action is taken, once it's created and it's out there, now I'm in the receiving portion of, now I just have to let the universe do its work and send aligned clients my way, right? So what I do to help me maintain alignment with having my programs fulfilled is sometimes I think about how awesome the program is, right? I might look at the program and I might get excited to talk about the program, or I might make some content that is showing how excited I am for the program and then I might visualize new people coming in from different directions and just getting super excited. These things are helping me emotionally and mentally stay aligned to the value and the worth of my offers and my programs and the results that I want, right? So I hope that's making sense, but that situation can be applied for anything. So like if you're trying to manifest a relationship or whatever, I remember right before I met my twin flame, that's exactly what I did in that situation as well. A little bit different, but I knew that I wanted the next relationship that I wanted to be in. I had been single for a long time. I didn't want to waste my time with casual dating. I knew that the next relationship I wanted to be in was going to be super aligned to me, and it was just going to be everything that I needed. So what I did was I created the manifesto, and the manifesto had the ideas of what I wanted in this relationship. And then I figured out how to become that person, become aligned with that person. And then a few months, it took a few months, but after I felt genuinely aligned with that person and I wasn't even thinking, and that's another part. I think there's a key part to just letting it go. I know I saw this thing with Oprah talking about it. She's like, I'm a master manifester. I love Oprah. And she said, I'm at a point where I'm not even using vision boards anymore. I just say what I want. I align myself to what I want, and then I forget about it. Right. So, but when you're anxious, that's when you bring yourself back into alignment, and then you forget about it. You forget about it, you let it go, you stop thinking about it, because that's going to keep you in that anxiety, or it's going to keep you in this energy of it's not here. And that's not where we need to be. So we align to it, and then we immediately go do something that is just going to not necessarily distract us, but keep us in a joyful mood. Maybe go watch, if you're at home, you need to relax and you need to reset. Maybe watch a comedy special, right? Something that's going to make you laugh, something that's going to make you excited, or watch a documentary that you align with, right? So anything like that, or go out on an adventure, go for a hike, go do anything that's going to kind of keep you in the state, but prevent you from holding on to, is it happening? Is it happening? Is it happening? Right? Because that's the key. We need to let go of, is it coming? But hopefully that's making sense. And hopefully that gives you clarity for that. I'm going to check the comments really quickly. Okay. Hey, Lorena, I'm so excited for you to be here. I hope this is helpful for you guys so far. Please let me know if everything's making sense, if you guys are getting some value from this. I think I've got a couple more questions. So, and I'm going to keep answering them. And so again, if you have anything you want support in, just let me know in the comments and I will be sure to answer them. Okay. So the next question is, I have so many ideas and I just feel stuck, period. I give great advice. I just don't give it to myself. I totally get this. I've totally been there. So, and I still have a million ideas. So for this, as simply as I can possibly describe this, what I suggest whenever somebody has a lot of ideas or a big vision for the future, which is great, is something called a life inventory exercise. Okay, so what that means is you just write it all down. Okay, so you brain dump it. And I've got a bunch of different journals that I'm looking at right beside me. I'm not going to dig through them to show you, but I've got multiple different pages where I've done this exercise over and over again, where I will just brain dump everything that I want to accomplish. And then I've also got my vision boards, right? So usually I create my vision boards after I do my brain dump. So the brain dump is like places you want to travel, material possessions you want to acquire, goals in your business that you want to achieve, like writing a book, talking on stage, whatever it is, opening a franchise, whatever it is, whatever your goals are for your business, whatever your goals are for your material possessions, whatever your goals are for your personal development or inner healing, right? Like, I want to be emotionally stable. I don't want to be emotionally triggered, right? These can be goals on the brain dump, right? So whether it's relationships, professional, personal, material, brain dump everything that you want to achieve in this lifetime. Okay. So when you have an abundance of ideas, that's not a problem. But the problem comes when we don't have clarity on how to accomplish these or how to make these things happen. So when we have this abundance of ideas, I recommend you brain dump it all to the best of your ability. And then what I do is I go through and I'm like, okay, some of this is categorized in a 5-year plan. I believe realistically I can achieve these things in 5 years. I believe realistically I can achieve these things in 10 years. But now these few things I believe I can achieve in the next month, or in the next 3 months, or in the next 6 months, or in the next year, right? These are close possibilities. These are things that you believe and you feel in your heart that you can accomplish if you prioritize them right now. So that is how I go about, because I'm the same way. I have an abundance of ideas and I have an abundance of things that I want to achieve and accomplish professionally and personally, materially, everything, right? So I get that. And this is what helps me. This is what has allowed me to attract my twin flame, to do the inner healing work that I wanted to do, to write my book and get it published in the time frame that I wanted to get it published, to create my programs that I have today. It has helped me with everything. It keeps me on track. It keeps me focused, because what I find is we're not good at multitasking. We can have a couple of goals going on at the same time, but we're not ever going to be able to work on them all at once. So the best thing to do when we have a lot of goals or we have a lot of things that we want to achieve is narrow them down into, but keep them all, right? Like brain dump them all, have clarity on everything. Just like throw it up onto the paper, everything you want. Okay. And then categorize it into things that are achievable in a short period of time. It's going to take a little bit longer and a little bit longer, right? Whatever that looks like for you. So then once, like, and that's another thing, I manifested my car this way. I did everything that I want, whether it's personal, material, or professional. I took this strategy and I brain dumped everything. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need for my house. This is what I want for my car. This is what I want in my business, whatever it is. And then I would put a mark next to the ones I'm like, okay, these are important. These are the things I need to prioritize right now, right? These are the things that need to get done. And what I find is the things that need to get done first and that you feel are possible to get done sooner than later are actually the things that will allow for the next thing to happen, right? So let's say you want to make XYZ in income, but your other goal is also to write a book or to get on stage or to create a course or whatever, right? This needs to be done first, right? The book needs to be written, or the course needs to be, or the program needs to be outlined before you're making this much money, because it's the thing that's going to make the money, right? And then once you get these little things in place, then sometimes that next goal just comes. So I hope that this is helpful. Like I said, the best thing that helps me get unstuck when I've got a lot of ideas is to just brain dump it and then to organize it into what's realistic for me to achieve right now or in the next year. What should I be focused on, and what little things can I do each day, each week, each month to move closer to achieving this goal, right? And so hopefully that's making sense and that's helpful. So let me go back and see if there's any comments. Okay. All right. What is the next question? Okay, and I've got one more question in my messenger, and then I'm going to wrap up if I don't see any other comments, but you guys are welcome to watch this as a replay if you guys aren't able to be with me right now. And if you are on the replay, just because I couldn't answer your questions live today, your feedback, let me know what helped, what didn't help. If this was valuable to you, just let me know if you guys like this and we'll keep doing it. And if there are any questions that didn't get answered, put them in the comments below and I'll make sure to add them to the next Q&A. Okay, so I've got one more question that I'm going to go over here, and let's see here. Okay, so I got a message and it says, I need help with inner healing and business startup. I want to make my life better, and I have been trying to get myself healed and really trying to figure out how to get my business started up ASAP. Okay, so I definitely recommend, here's the thing. What I find is when we start something or when we do something, that is can be a roadmap to healing. Okay, so let's say, I don't know where you're at with everything, right? So I don't know where you're at with the healing process. I don't know what you've tried. I don't know where you're at with the business startup. And I don't know if you've got a concept for the business. I don't know where you're at with that and where you're at currently. However, let's say you have an idea for the business. We're just going to go with, we have an idea of what we want to do for the business and we need to get started, right? So once we have an idea of what we're going to do for business, how we're going to show up, right? What offers are we going to have? What do we need for the business? Is this an in-person business? Is it a virtual business? What are the things we need to know how to do, right? So for business startup, that is inevitably what I would suggest is you need to figure out these things. What's the business concept? Is it virtual? Is it in-person, local? What services will you provide? What products will you provide? Right, these kinds of things. Clarity on this, and then what do you need, right? What will you need to know how to do? Do you need to run ads for this business? Will you need to network for this business? Will you need to join communities for this business? What will you need to know how to do to operate the business? Now, the next thing for healing, the best thing that I have, to share for you guys for healing is notice what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Okay. So the more you can audit your emotions and the more you can audit your, right? So like, what are you thinking? What do you think about yourself? What do you think about your life? And how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your life? What are the things that keep coming up? Right? Are there any insecurities? Are there any insults, judgments, doubts, worries? So pay attention to those thoughts that say, I don't know if I can, or I can't do this, or I'm not sure, or I'm struggling with this, right? These are what's keeping us stuck. That mindset, that those limitations, those thought processes are what's keeping us where we are. Editing those thought processes and writing them down, and then doing what you can to shift the perspective. Why are they not true? Why are they not true? What are they trying to tell you? If you're struggling with this or you don't know this, what can you do to not struggle? Right? What do you need to make this statement not true? If you can't go in and just kind of ask and get a new perspective, there may be action you need to take to shift this belief from coming up, right? We need evidence. The brain needs to clearly see why you are not someone who struggles with this, or why you are not someone who is capable of this. So sometimes there's action that needs to be taken, or sometimes you're just not giving yourself enough credit for the things you're already doing, and you're not seeing yourself as someone as capable. So either way, it's usually a little bit of both. Usually there is something that we need to do to prove ourselves capable, right? There's something we might need to learn, or there's something we might need to experience to show our mind and body and our emotions and our mindset that we are capable, right? There's action that we need to take, or something we need to learn. But sometimes we're already capable and we're just not giving ourselves credit for it. So for example, if you need to be more disciplined, but you're telling yourself you struggle with discipline, if you ask yourself, why is that not true? Why am I already disciplined? You might start to think about all the times in your life where you have showed up in a disciplined manner. And you might start to prove to yourself in your brain that you are a disciplined person. And then you can rewrite that limitation of I'm not disciplined to I am a disciplined person. I do show up when it matters, right? I am disciplined in what matters, right? So I hope that's making sense. So you want to rewrite those. And then your emotions, giving yourself, this is a very feminine part of the healing process, but this is a much needed part of the process. So going in and reparenting or being there, nurturing your uncomfortable emotions, or the emotions that are making you feel dragged down, whether it's rage or depression or whatever, right? You are not your emotions, but your emotions, especially the ones that society are kind of like, here, take a pill for this, or here, you need help for that. Here's the thing. We've all got the emotions. I can have rage. I can have depression, but it's about how we handle them. It's about how we take care of them. It's about how we nurture them, but this isn't really taught. Right. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't follow medical professional advice, and this is definitely not medical or professional advice, but sometimes when we seek help for our emotions, we're not actually taught how to process those emotions so we can work through them. We're taught to suppress them or avoid them or cover them up with something. So follow whatever advice your doctors or anything like that is telling you. But sometimes additionally to that, or before it gets to that level of necessity, then what can be done is being kind to those emotions. You're angry. Okay, I'm allowed to feel angry. Going into holding your heart, breathing into it, let yourself feel it, scream. Something that helps me is these like expressive exercises. So if I'm really sad, I'm just going to cry, and I'm going to cry, and I'm going to cry. I'm going to have trouble breathing, whatever, but I know I'm doing it intentionally. If I am angry, if I am so full of rage, I will go in my car, or I will put myself in a safe situation where I can listen to music that's going to kind of spark those feelings, and I will get into my heart and I will scream as loud as I can. And what happens is this is an act. When you are expressing these emotions that feel really big and feel really heavy, what's happening is you're decluttering your emotional state of being. Okay. You're decluttering those emotions. And what's happening is you're telling those emotions they're safe. You're telling those emotions they're allowed to be here. They're valid. They're accepted. And you want to let them free, right? So when you do these expressive exercises, you're clearing out that space and you're no longer rejecting your emotional state of being. Because every time you say, stop feeling this way, stop crying, stop being angry, you're being ridiculous, you're rejecting your emotions. Your emotions are just building up more because they feel rejected or they feel like they're not good enough, right? They feel like there's something wrong with them. And then that's where the shadow self starts to come in. The shadow self is the part of you that you try to mask or that you try to hide from the world and let the world know, hey, I don't have temper problems. I don't have sadness problems. I don't get angry. And then that's when disassociation starts to come into the picture, or that's when silence or retreating or explosive reactions start to come up, because you're trying to not be these things and you're trying to hide these things instead of just saying, oh, hey, anger's here. Oh, hey, anxiety's here. Oh, hey, sadness is here. What do I need to do to accept, validate, and express this fully, to let it out? We don't want to keep it in. We're conditioned in this society to keep those emotions in. And those emotions are exactly the reason we're not trusting ourselves. We're building insecurities. We're building doubts. And we're not showing up. We're having these experiences where we're not trusting ourselves. And because we're shaming parts of ourselves, or we're rejecting these parts of ourselves. So anything we can do to say, hey, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, you're allowed here. I'm not afraid to get sad. I'm not afraid to get mad. They are part of the human experience. And this kind of goes full circle back to the very, very beginning of this Q&A when I talk about what's the point? What's the point in allowing yourself to feel these feelings and to have this human experience? What do you not like about it? And can you find any reason to fall in love with it? Can you find any reason to fall in love with the unlovable, with the things that are challenging to love? So these are the questions I have so far. I'm going to check one last time if we've got any questions going on right now where I'm at. Okay, so I don't have any questions in the comments as of right now. I hope this has been really helpful. And so I'm going to wrap up. And like I said, I'm going to send the replay out, and hopefully people, like I said, when one person asks, I find most people need to hear it. So I'm hoping that these questions resonated with you guys and you guys are getting your wheels turning and everything is feeling good for you. So I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know if this is valuable. Let me know if this is helpful. And if there are any additional questions that you thought of or need more clarity on that I didn't get a chance to go over, please put them in the comments. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. And this will be up for you guys to watch the replay. And I will see you guys next time.